Hey everyone, this is Ravener's blog and welcome to another Disney Discussions for Disney Month. So today's Disney discussion is this question that came from the cartoon critic, and it states, you could talk about some origins of the old Disney movies that we grew up with, like the fairy tales that had darker story elements, one of them being Pinocchio, and Disney made that a lot lighter than the original story. So basically what this video is going to be about talking about is the origins of the Disney fairy tale classics and how they compare to the original versions. And the person who requested me this video was the Cartoon Critic, and you could check out the link to his channel in the description box below. And before I get into this topic video, I would like to let everybody know that new videos will be posted up every Sunday. It could be Sunday morning, Sunday night, or Sunday evening, depending when I could get the videos posted up. And if you happen to see a video posted Monday through Friday, it must mean that there was a bit of movie or TV show news that was released during the week that I wanted to cover. So those will be considered special videos. But new videos for this channel will be posted up every Sunday. So let's get into this topic video. Um, what are the origins of the original Disney fairy tales and of the Disney fairy tales and how they compare to their original sources? So as you notice, a lot of the older fairy tales were very dark in nature. Like you had some fairy tales that had some gruesome content, like some of the characters are killed in gruesome ways, like being chopped up to bits, or characters being eaten. And in the case with a lot of the Disney movies, I've noticed that a lot of the Disney movies are a lot lighter and softer compared to the original fairy tales. Like for example, with the Three Little Pigs, in the original version of the Three Little Pigs, you have the wolf actually eat up the first two pigs, and then you have the third little pig eat up the wolf at the end of the story. Whereas in the Disney version, all the characters survive, even the wolf survives. And then with Pinocchio, as was stated in the question, um, like the Disney movie is still pretty dark compared to the rest of the Disney films, but it's a bit lighter compared to the original story. Like in the original Pinocchio story, Pinocchio was a bit more temperamental than he is in the movie, and there the scene with the cat and the fox, they were a lot more menacing in the original story. Like they actually tried to rob Pinocchio and almost killed Pinocchio in the original story, whereas in the Disney version, all they really did was give Pinocchio up to Stromboli and the coachman, but they didn't really try to hurt Pinocchio or anything like that in the movie. So those are some examples of fairy tales that were dark in the original format, but then they were made lighter and softer when they reached Disney. And I think the reason why this was done, like why the original darker fairy tales had to be made lighter and softer when Disney got their hands on them, is so Disney can display these movies to a wider audience. Because if you have these original darker fairy tales, they wouldn't really be able to go to a wider audience. Like the kids couldn't really watch them because they were too violent or scary for them. And so they have to like downplay a lot of the more violent and gruesome aspects of the original fairy tales in order to make it work out for a wider audience. And Disney is a company that's all about, we're family entertainment, so we gotta do everything for the kids and for the parents, and we gotta do everything that the whole family would like. So we had to cut off a lot of the gruesome content or the violent content that was in the original fairy tales in order to make it sell to a wider audience. Now, as far as whether or not people like these changes, it really depends on the person. Like if you love dark and gruesome stuff, you'll probably love the original dark fairy tales. If you love the lighter stuff, then you'll probably like what Disney's been doing with the these fairy tales, like making them more lighter and softer compared to the original source material. So with me, like it really depends. I mean, I have grown up with the Disney versions a lot more than I did with the original versions, and I only noticed about the original versions of the fairy tales a little later on in my life. So um for me, I do like what Disney's been doing with a lot of their fairy tale movies, but at the same time, I do appreciate the original darker content of the fairy tales. So yeah, I kind of like both, but I grew up more with the Disney content, so I think I like the Disney versions a little better because they fleshed out the characters a little more, and it's not needlessly violent or gruesome. It's just like if they need to be scary, they can be, but it's not done in a gruesome or violent way. So what are your thoughts about this? What do you think about the original fairy tales compared to the Disney versions? Do you think the original fairy tales were better than the Disney versions, or do you think Disney did a better job with making the fairy tales more lighter, softer than the original versions? Please feel free to comment below. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter so I can keep you updated on any new videos I post up, and also like my Facebook page. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is your Abby's blog, and I'll see you later.